Today we are going to talk about purchasing process in our Learning with ISRAR YouTube channel. So let's discuss uh, briefly about a typical purchasing process. Let's define purchasing. Purchasing is the formal process a business or organization uses to acquire goods or services to run the business. Purchasing process is part of procurement in a supply chain management. You can see in the slide that uh, overall is the supply chain, and then procurement is the part of supply chain, and then purchasing is the part of procurement. So this is a kind of typical presentation how we purchasing process in a overall supply chain management. Before talking further in the purchasing process, let's differentiate between purchasing and procurement. Usually people are very confused about these two concepts. So let's define what is the procurement. It is the process of identifying, shortlisting, selecting, acquiring suitable goods or services or work from a third-party vendor through a direct purchase, competitive bidding, or tendering process while ensuring timely delivery in the right quality and quantity. So it's kind of more strategic. So whereas purchasing is the set of functions associated with acquiring the goods services that an organization requires, purchasing is a small subset of broader procurement function. This process includes activities like ordering, expediting, receiving, and fulfilling the payment. So it's more kind of operational or tactical. To further differentiate between procurement, purchase, and logistic, this is another picture where logistic is inventory management, inbound transportation, supply and demand planning, outsourcing management, and fleet management. And procurement is sourcing, supplier management, contract management, and catalog management, whereas purchasing is pricing, ordering, receiving, invoicing, and paying. So I hope you understand the difference between procurement and purchasing and the logistic through this picture. Thank you. This picture showing a broader picture of supply chain management where procurement and is the part of supply chain management, and also logistic is another part of supply chain management. Okay, after seeing look in the broader picture of supply chain management with regard to procurement and purchasing and logistic, let's now come back to our original topic is purchasing process. So purchasing process includes purchase requisition, authorization, purchase order, order placement, monitoring, expediting, receiving, and inspection, payment, and record management. So these are the activities in a typical purchasing process. It could vary, or a sequence could be little bit different, but these are the fundamental or basic activities we do in a purchasing order. Let's now discuss one by one. Triggering point of purchasing process is a purchase requisition. What is a purchase requisition? It is a, it is a request sent internally within the organization to obtain the purchased good and services which are required. So usually this request is a document which tells the purchasing department exactly the items and the services are required, quantity, the source, or a suggestion that from where they should buy, associated cost, and the time of requirement, which means when it is required. This is typical a format or a picture of a purchase requisition form. To see you are all the informations are written on that, which we discussed in the previous slide. Now let's define the purchase order. A purchase order is a document created by a buyer indicating the items they wish to purchase from a seller. So basically it is a document on which we write what we need, and it is a contract that forms an agreement between the buyers and the sellers concerning the goods the buyer wishes to purchase. So this is a document about everything is written in, is a kind of a agreement between buyer and seller. This is a typical format of a purchase order to see that how it looks like. Uh, in most of the organizations, it is necessary that this purchase order or requisition should be authorized by a competent authority. So purchase order must also be approved. There must be an authorization from a competent authority within the organization to purchase the goods and services. Usually procedures of authorization written in the buying or purchasing or procurement policy of that particular company or organization. After all the internal process has been done, requisition, purchasing order is written, and getting the authorization, it is time to place the order or send order to our selected supplier or vendor. At this point, the buyer officially placed the order by sending it to the supplier, which creates a binding purchase agreement between you, your business, and the supplier. It could be done by mail, by email, by phone, fax, or EDI, or sometime it is we have the software where the POs are generated and transmitted to the our pre-qualified suppliers. After the placing of the PO, when the PO is received by the suppliers and it is agreed to ship the goods, we start monitoring the progress of the our order. So after placing the PO, the next activity is the monitoring and the tracking. Purchasing ensures timely delivery of the materials from vendors, generate and track purchase orders, and coordinate with the receiving department and the account payable department to ensure that promised deliveries were received in full and without any defects. So not only by monitoring the purchase order, we also coordinate with our receiving, our warehouse, and our account department. And in some organizations everything is happening automatically. They have the software where when you place the order, it goes to the warehouse as well as to the account office or all the concerning department within the organization. During the monitoring and tracking process, if you feel that order is getting delay or there's some bottlenecks, so you try to expedite the order. So order should reach to reach you at the deadline you have set in your purchase order. So after a purchase order has been issued to a supplier, the purchaser may wish to follow or expedite the order. So expediting is the application of pressure on the supplier to get them to either meet the original delivery promise or deliver ahead of schedule. So sometime you need order maybe before you set the date, so you have to expedite that order by asking your supplier to please fast this the delivery, or quicken your process. The next step is receiving the goods and inspection. So for material goods, arriving shipments are inspected for completeness, integrity, and quality, with any shortage or broken goods marked to be credited back to the buyer. Inventory management is either manually updated or handled automatically by the procurement software, which links the shipping documentation to the original purchase order, invoice, related corresponding and other documents for data analysis and auditing process. So usually warehouse have all these documents, and they, when they receive, they match the goods with the purchase order with all the quality or compliances which are sent, and if they feel anything which is not done properly, they can give the goods back to the vendor, or then if they are okay, then they received it, and then they sign it and they send the paper to the all concerning department, or they put all information in the computer software. So everyone know that the process has been completed. So the next step in the purchasing process is the payment. The invoice is reviewed for accuracy against the purchase order, invoice and other documentation. Depending on the terms established for the suppliers and the approval of the reviewing party, payment is issued usually within 30, 60 or 90 days. It depends on the term of payments. Purchasing department is working closely with the accounting department to ensure that all payments are made on time. Like during every step I mentioned about the records and about computer, about software. So this is also part of purchasing department to keep all the records regarding to the purchase. So business is still using manual system, follow up by the updating their inventory totals, purchasing ledger. Purchasing software automates this step as documents are cross connected and update automatically across all the department. Purchasing department handle all the paperwork involved with the purchasing and delivery of the supplies and the material. Like I explained to you, most of companies have no automatic softwares which are every concerned department has to put the data, so it will be like everyone has look in what is happening in the purchasing department, so they are doing what they are supposed to do in the organization. So briefly, this was the purchasing order process which I explained to you briefly in this presentation. If you have any question or need any explanation, just write in the comment sections, and I will try to explain you or redo give me another presentation if I like to. I'm planning to make another presentation about only the purchase order, not the purchasing process, but only the purchase. So please look for my next video, and same time I will ask you to subscribe my channel and click on the icon red bell, so any from any new video will come, it will be going to inform you. And thank you once more for listening this presentation. Thank you.